Congratulations to the nominees. Mr. Long, I didn't understand your answer to Senator Blackburn, so I just wanted to come back to that for a second, if I could. She asked you if you participated in any meetings at all related to the Hunter Biden laptop. Was that a yes or a no?
Senator, as a Department of Justice employee bound by Section 1-7 of the Justice Manual, as well as a judicial nominee, it's not appropriate for me, and I'm bound not to talk about.
Why isn't it appropriate for you? As a judicial nominee, this has anything to do with any case that you have, right? I'm asking you what you did in your former employment as the Deputy Chief of Staff to the FBI Director. Did you participate in any meetings related to the Hunter Biden laptop?
Senator, again, as a Department of Justice employee.
It sounds like you're not going to answer me. Is this going to be a I'm not going to answer you type deal?
Senator, I'm bound to follow the Code of Judicial Conduct.
The Code of Judicial Conduct doesn't have any bearing on this question whatsoever. What possible bearing could it have? That's a question mark.
Well, Senator, as the Code of Judicial Conduct requires integrity and independence in the judiciary, it requires judicial officers to act with...
It's not a get-out-of-jail-free card when you don't want to answer questions when you're under oath before a committee who's considering you for a lifetime appointment to the federal bench. I'm going to try one last time. Did you participate in any meetings during your time as Deputy Chief of Staff or Acting Chief of Staff related to the Hunter Biden laptop, yes or no?
Senator, again, I'm not permitted to answer.
Oh, you are permitted to answer. You don't want to answer because it would be inconvenient for you. And I have to tell you, I find that extremely troubling, Mr. Long, extremely troubling. Not a good start. Let's see if we can do better on a different topic. While you were at the Department of Justice, or at the FBI in your capacity as Deputy Chief of Staff and Acting Chief of Staff, did you ever observe FBI resources being used to monitor pro-life groups or pro-life individuals?
No, Senator, I don't have any information about that.
What about Catholic parishes or Catholic groups?
No, Senator.
So, now, I notice you're happy to answer those questions, but you're not happy to answer the Hunter Biden question. They're not qualitatively different. I'd just like to note that for the record. You familiar with this memo generated by the FBI field office in January of 2023 regarding the infiltration of Catholic parishes by the FBI? I'm sure you've seen this in the news.
I've not seen that memo, but I've seen news reports relating to that memo.
Well, let me tell you what's in the memo. In the memo, the FBI field office in Richmond recommends infiltrating Catholic parishes that it deems traditionalists associated with the Latin Mass, recruiting FBI informants within those parishes to monitor speech within the parishes. The House Judiciary Committee has later learned, this is in a letter dated April 10th, 2023, that the FBI relied on at least one undercover agent to produce its analysis in this memo, and the FBI has proposed that its agents engage in outreach to Catholic parishes to develop sources among the clergy. Did any of this occur while you were at the FBI?
Senator, I've not been at the FBI in over 2 years.
That's not my question. Did any of this occur while you were at the FBI? Did you see anything like this happening while you were at the FBI?
I did not, Senator.
Do you think it's appropriate?
Senator, I haven't worked at the FBI in
I'm not asking you that.
years.
I'm asking you, do you think this is appropriate? Do you think it's appropriate to recruit informants in Catholic parishes?
Senator, I don't know the circumstances underlying that memo. I have not reviewed that memo. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on it.
It's not appropriate for you to comment on whether or not the federal government of the United States should be infiltrating religious entities and organizations and trying to recruit informants and sources in the clergy? You don't have an opinion on that? You want a lifetime federal appointment to the judiciary to conduct impartial justice, but you can't say that this is inappropriate? You know, let me give you a refresher course. The Attorney General of the United States sat right where you were sitting, and he couldn't run away fast enough from this. He said it was a gross abuse of department authority. He claimed that it had never happened. He was not telling the truth, it turns out. But he said that if it was happening, he put a stop to it immediately, because it was grossly inconsistent with the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Can you say that?
Senator, that wasn't that memo and the conduct that it relates to wasn't anything that I would have discussed.
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you whether or not you can say as a jurist, as a lawyer, as a member of the bar, as an American, whether this is appropriate to be recruiting informants in Catholic churches, to be using federal government resources to go after clergy in Catholic churches, to be designating and treating members of Catholic parishes as terrorists. Is that appropriate or not?
Senator, again, based upon my experience at the FBI, this was not something that we ever discussed. This was not, I've never seen that memo before. It would not be appropriate for me to comment.
I cannot believe your answers. I cannot believe that I can't believe anybody who would come before this committee would look at this and look at what they have tried to do and just listen to the Attorney General, for heaven's sake, and would not say it's grossly inappropriate, this should never happen. I'm absolutely stunned by this. And for that reason, among others, I cannot support your nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy and Castee, I think you've chosen wisely. Mr. Long, what role did you have at the FBI?
Senator, I was Deputy Chief of Staff to Director Wray.
Okay. What period of time?
This would have been in 2020 and the first half of 2021, and for a brief period of time, I was also the Acting Chief of Staff.
Okay. You were there on January 6th?
I was.
So what have you learned from that experience? What's your takeaway about January 6th?
Well, I want to be a little careful here, Senator. There are a number of open investigations and open cases right here in the District of Columbia. As a judicial nominee and a department attorney, it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on January 6 cases.
I'm not asking you to talk about the cases, about the event itself.
Well, again, Senator, I'm
Would you say it's a good day or a bad day for America?
it was a bad day for America, Senator.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I agree with you. So, the FBI. The FBI is taking a beating right now, at least on our side of the aisle. Did you have any knowledge of some of the accusations being made about FBI's handling of the Steele dossier? Anything about the Hunter Biden investigation, about whether or not Mr. Weiss had all the power he needed? Do you know anything about that moment in time?
Well, with respect to the Crossfire Hurricane investigation, that predated my role at the FBI by a few years. With respect to the more recent investigations, no, I don't have any information. I haven't been at the FBI in over 2 years. I've been prosecuting cases in New Orleans over the past 2 years, so I don't have any information about those investigations.
So you were there up until mid-21, is that right?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. So apparently some of these allegations by whistleblowers were made in the middle of 20. Were you aware of any allegations being made regarding the investigation of Hunter Biden as not being fair?
Well, my understanding, Senator, is that there is an open investigation involving
No, my
Hunter
question,
Biden.
did you know anything about this?
I don't have any information. No, I did not know anything about this.
So you don't know, you have no recollection of Mr. Weiss asking for special counsel, additional assistant status?
Again, Senator, this involves an open investigation. As a Department of Justice attorney, as well as a judicial nominee, I'm bound not to comment on open investigations.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Long, let me come to you, if I may. As I went through your record, I noted your time as the acting chief of staff for Director Wray, and that caught my attention. I noted that you were there in that position when the Hunter Biden laptop story broke in October of 2020. Is that correct?
In October of 2020, Senator, I would have been the Deputy Chief of Staff.
The Deputy Chief of Staff, okay. And so you were there when the FBI, despite having possession of that laptop, refused to correct all the misinformation that was out in the media. And the FBI's mishandling of the Hunter Biden laptop is one example of why people think there's a two-tier system of justice. I did a telephone town hall last night with several thousand Tennesseans on that telephone town hall. And lack of trust with the FBI, just really a disappointment with the political cabal inside the FBI is something that came up repeatedly in the questions that people brought to me. I noted that you were also there when concerned parents that went to school board meetings were labeled as domestic terrorists. And also, during that time, the FBI targeted pro-life individuals. They allegedly obstructed the Hunter Biden tax probe. And this, we need to know what your participation in all of this was. So, Senator Graham has already asked you about this, and I want to drill a little bit further on this. Did you participate in any meetings, any memos, any emails that would have provided discussion, advice, or guidance on how to handle the Hunter Biden laptop situation? Did you participate in any meetings, any writings, any memos, any advice, any guidance on labeling parents as domestic terrorists? Did you participate in any meetings on how to handle parents at school board meetings? What was your knowledge of in your participation in those decisions, in those actions that the FBI carried out during that time that you were there, the Deputy Chief of Staff, the Acting Chief of Staff?
Well, Senator, let me maybe explain my role a little bit as the Deputy Chief of Staff at the FBI.
I think we know. I don't want you to, my time's going to run out. I want you to answer the question. We know what the role is. We know what the job description is.
Well, Senator, specifically with respect to the Hunter Biden matter, I am a Department of Justice employee. Mm-hmm. I'm a judicial nominee. That is a pending matter. And it would
we
be
fully realize that. I'm asking, as did Senator Graham, and I know you didn't want to answer his question either. So why don't you submit for me in writing and include any emails, any memos, anything that you participated in? I would like to know. Two tiers of justice is one of the main concerns of Tennesseans. They want fairness. They want equal treatment. And, sir, I have a problem with the fact that you were there in a leadership role during a time when actions were taken by a few people within the FBI that has caused enormous distrust. So I'm asking you to submit to me in writing so that we know what your participation was in this. It's something that has upset this country terribly. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.